So I've written this story about a guy in the Netherlands goes around solving mysteries. It's called Clever Clogs.
Oh yeah.
No? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, hello and welcome to Not Another Leeds podcast with me, Danny, and my counterparts. First, we'll start with Kevin. How are you, Kev?
Very well today. Very, very well.
Very well. Much better from last week when I asked you.
Yeah, just such a difference a week makes, I guess, then, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. What about you, James? How are you, mate?
He looks all right.
Is he frozen? Was he frozen?
Yeah.
All right then. Well,
Yeah.
there's only one place to start then, Kev, while things are getting sorted in the background. How did you find the Middlesbrough game?
Leedsy. I mean, I actually thought we didn't play that bad, to be honest. I mean, it was only 2-1. We should have scored loads. It was just a roller coaster for me yesterday, because I was absolutely sat there anxious, man, for the entire game. And then all that other stuff started happening elsewhere. I was like, oh, God, rocking backwards and forwards, mate. I should have had a straitjacket on yesterday. It was that mad. And yeah, it's good, though. But yeah, it was an all right game to watch. There was just no jeopardy at all, was there? I thought, really, apart from their only goal, no jeopardy at all.
Talking about Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, Middlesbrough. Oh no, yeah, fuck that game. It's gone, mate.
We need to talk about it because it's in the past. 1 second, Evie, I'm doing it now. I mean, we had 2 goals chalked off.
That game.
Well, how did you feel about that game, James?
Sorry, man. I'm just really hyper today.
It's great. It's great. It was a great game because we won it scruffily. We should have scored 3. Well, we did score 3 goals. 2 of them were wrongly offside. That's a third hat trick of that dude doing that to us when we should have had goals. But yeah, it was one of them games. It was a nice game to win. It was a game that we needed, them type of games, so it's nice to win it under pressure. Not too much though, but not enough that we couldn't deal with. Just got over the line with that 1-0 win. Yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed it. I missed the last bit though because my electric just went off, which is a bit weird.
Well, it seems to be a common occurrence. I don't know what's going on where you live, James, but it's your internet as well.
No, someone literally turned it off at the plug.
Yeah. The last 10 minutes, Kev, right? I must have been pulled. I could feel myself turning grey. How close was it?
It wasn't an easy watch, the last 10 minutes of Middlesbrough for me. I was absolutely, again, just sat there cacking my pants for the last 10 minutes, as always, as I always do. It's just Leeds, in it. I mean, even the last 10 minutes of the Middlesbrough game, you just think something bad's going to happen, especially with the chances and the offsides that were ruled out. It's just, I'm never going to live a normal day just like, oh yeah, we've won this, we're going to win. Being a Leeds fan, every game's like that for me. Every single game. I guess it's just my mentality of the pessimist in me. James is always the positive. I'm the pessimist. That's why we get along so well, I guess. But yeah, it's just killing me, man. I swear. Before I started doing podcasts and supporting Leeds, all this was really dark, you know. I swear. I was proper good looking back in the day. And then I started liking football. So from age 5, I've been great, really. Yeah.
Welcome, Evie. Welcome back to the madhouse. Thank you for coming on. We're just talking about the Middlesbrough game and how it's turned us all grey. It's obviously not turned you grey. It's turned you rather
just blonde. Yeah. This is how I hide the grey, is by going super blonde instead. So then
is that a wig?
It covers it up. Absolutely. Yeah. I have it, and during the season I'm blonde, but during summer I'm actually really dark brunette.
She got it from the Leeds shop. It was a Thomas Brolin replica Leeds wig. That's what it is.
It's the Ginola style, I believe. Evie, we're just talking about Borough. How did you find that game?
It was a lot more tense than it should have been. it's one of those things that it's almost annoyed me, the fact that everybody's like, oh yeah, we ground it out. It's like, well, no, we won 3-0, but because of stupid refereeing and linesmen who clearly are blind and are a fantastic advert for Specsavers, we ended up having to grind it out. And it does make you think, if that hadn't have actually ended up going our way, if Borough had have got a last minute equaliser, where do we stand with complaining because a letter or a phone call from the PGMOL doesn't solve £150 million worth of revenue that we would have lost out if we hadn't have, gone and got those points this week? I know obviously Sheffield have done us a favour, but if we drop points, surely that spurs them on against Plymouth to go and to close that gap. Whereas, it's just, I don't know how many times, I would have loved for us to be the club where they say, you know what, we're going to give you the points back because they were our decisions that we got wrong and they've cost you. But I mean, they'd never do that in a million, years. But I would love us to be the one that actually said, no, you've cost us. Like some terrible decisions that you've made have really cost us a lot of points this season. He's just lucky, obviously, that line in the fact that all those games where he's ruled out goals, we've actually won anyway. Whereas it would have been, I don't know, where do you stand when it's the same linesman and he's physically cost you points? Luckily he's only cost us goal difference and not points. But with how close us and Burnley are, goal difference could be the difference between us winning the league and not winning the league. So I don't think it affects us now with promotion in terms of if we lose the games, then goal difference doesn't matter anyway, because if Sheffield then win, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, it was just incredibly frustrating, but I thought everybody dug in and it was a real, I don't know, come together game in terms of seeing clearly how much it meant to Tanaka. Obviously falling to his knees after, the final whistle. And it just goes to show that for as much as we can all be incredibly critical of the players at times, they do care,
Yeah,
and
they are people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Can I go back to something that Evie's just said there? Like getting promoted earlier and with stuff like getting the points on it actually is quite big, really, as well, because if you get promoted up before the playoff, you get an early start on buying all the players and getting the business and stuff like that. So these little decisions can really affect a team and going into next year as well. So yeah, the linesmen need to stop messing around with Leeds, man, because we're their cash cow, and it's a big conspiracy theory in my head when all this was going on when it happened as well. Yeah.
I don't think you can help it though. Like, I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist, but it is really difficult to not think like that. We've had the most 12:30 kickoffs. We've had most of those 12:30 kickoffs have also been away games as well. We've had some terrible refereeing decisions, just in red cards not been given to the opposition, blatant penalties not been given, goals been ruled out wrongly. It does make, all of those things individually might not be a massive deal, but when you add them up to the fact that it's happening to the same team who coincidentally are the biggest team money-wise and support-wise in the league, it does make you think, you do go all...
Maltese,
yeah, I was just about to say
Conspiracy of the week. Evie's hit it on the head there. I think that should get Carl on. You and Carl, get on there, Evie. Hey, say. I don't know. Is that racist? I don't know.
Big time.
Right. How did you respond? I mean, Kev, are you going to invite this lino round for Easter Sunday?
Not really, mate. No. I'd get him in a headlock. I would, big time. Just keep. I wouldn't let him go. I'll just walk around doing all my housework and that with him under my arm. Just start giving him nuggies and that, and then while I'm washing up, just keep him in a headlock, having a poo, keep him in the headlock. You know what I mean? Get him to wipe for me and that little knob. Just all those sort of things.
I'd invite him around for Good Friday, but he wouldn't be awake again by Easter Monday.
No.
Yeah, all living for that fact. I generally believe this when I say this, and I think James has literally kidnapped him and he's literally using him as a desk to hold his laptop on. Am I right there, James?
Is that why we've
Or have
got
you-
the Al Qaeda, kind of Wi-Fi going on there?
Get up.
Al James Aida.
Mm.
Oh, it's frozen.
Part of Legion oil.
Don't know what's going on, man.
It's under the desk.
It's under the desk. Is he breathing? Has he got your... I was going to say something else there. Okay, I'll say it. Has he got that gimp mask on? It's just a respirator. Like...
I'm just gonna just sit here and just listen and talk whenever I want. I'm gonna say things randomly, and if it comes out, when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see your comment, Oliver. Yes, have you got a problem with that? And by the way, I'm not a furry. The Leeds United teddies, I have to, whatever. Right, yeah, so we got denied Tanaka. You talked about it there, Evie. Tanaka, how much it meant to him. Now, there was a bit of a stat that came out that Tanaka, this is the most games he's played in his career. Because I think last season he played, don't quote me on this, around 3,000 minutes, and he's played 3,600 or something like that. I know he's played 600 more minutes than he did last season, and he's played 10 more games than he played last season. So he's probably, and we saw it in the winter time where he were starting to show signs of fatigue because he normally has an extended break in Germany, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah, Evie. Yeah.
I think so. It's been a while since I looked at anything German. My dad banned me from watching it as a kid.
True.
So
Yeah,
That's not true. If I look at your search history, something German would pop up.
big time, mate.
Das
Hutenblätter.
Right then, yeah. So
be on the radio.
James, I mean, let's get your thoughts on that. Those decisions. They were just shocking. I mean, Evie did make the point that a letter only goes so far. If we'd have drawn that game or dropped points, then I do believe that Sheffield United would have gone to Plymouth going, right, come on then, let's, we've got a chance, we've got a do-over here.
Yeah, they could have if that really happened, but what happened is we won that game, and then Sheffield United went and lost to Plymouth, and then we won anyway. So let's live in this reality for a bit, that we're going up as fucking champions, and not worry about what would have happened if said things had have happened.
Makes for a dull podcast if we only talk about what what has actually happened. We've got to, let's go into the narrative of the potential.
Oh, sorry, we're talking about fantasy. Chris Warner's going to come and start stabbing all the Leeds players because he hates them all.
Only the ex-Sheffield ones.
Yeah.
Bamford. He'll get most of it.
Right. Amidst the psychotic rant, the last 10 minutes for me were absolutely painstaking. Just knowing what was on like at stake. Like, what were you like when you saw Millwall going 1-0 up, Evie? Excited?
I couldn't believe it because if you go back to obviously the Luton game and we think we were all devastated after that draw, thinking we should have won that game, and not that we played brilliantly, but just as they're right at the bottom and we're right at the top, we should on paper be winning this game. But the complete context of that game was the narrative was completely shifted when Sheffield then went and lost to Oxford. So just like you said, Danny, I think Sheffield would have gone and won that Plymouth game because they were given a let off. If we'd have dropped points at Middlesbrough, they'd have been given that second chance to go and get it back again. So the last 10 minutes, I think I was pissing my husband off because I can't stay still. When I'm that anxious, I'm there jogging on the spot, running in and out of the room. I'm just like, I've got to move and do something because it's out of my control. I kind of need to do something so that I'm in control of that. So I'm like running around the living room and he's like, Evie, just sit down. You're making me nervous. And I'm like, have you not seen the score? Have you not seen the time? Do you not know the Leeds United script where we go and concede? Like, do you not know this? And yeah, I collapsed. I did a Tanaka. I collapsed on the living room floor when full-time whistle got blown. And I did it again yesterday because of how much that gap meant. Obviously, we knew that Sheffield had conceded the second by that point, but if we then went and dropped points, yes, there would have still been a gap, but it wouldn't have been a 5-point gap, and almost 6 when you throw in goal difference. So it's just the tension is getting too much for my little ticker to take at the minute. It's it's quite stressful in my household when Leeds are playing right now. It was great earlier on in the season.
Realities. That's what's happened to you.
I'm a woman, though. I like to view all of the, I'm a mother, so I see every potential outcome that can happen, and I like to prepare for all of them.
I want to think about this. If this happened.
Well, I think Evie's got that stone that Doctor Strange has got. She sees the multiverse. I think that's
exactly. And there's only like 2 outcomes where we actually go and do it. There's a shitload of other ones where we go and leads it up.
But yeah, I want to talk about
Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan. Yeah, I do want to talk about one specific player over these past 2 games, because we'll use it as a bit of a segue moving into the game from yesterday. Obviously, we won 1-0 in the end, and Burnley dropped points, and Sheffield United lost their second game against Millwall. But I want to talk about this guy, Karl Darlow. Now, I think he's been absolutely outstanding. Is pretty strong, but I think he's good enough. Now, he's made some great saves. The save against Middlesbrough, where it went straight to his chest, and the save yesterday in particular, because that was a great save in my opinion. Kev, what do you think? It was the right decision for me personally to drop Meslier, which he's been Burnley and Sunderland's and Sheffield United's best player. So dropping him and bringing Darlow in was needed. What about you? What do you think about his performances since he came in, Kev?
Well, he's good at catching, isn't he? We saw that. He's very good at catching, especially under a lot of pressure. I mean, I've seen some world class people. Yeah, that's all you need is someone that's going to catch the ball, and some big catches yesterday. It comes out and commands his box quite well. A little bit too far yesterday, from my liking. That one with a free kick, but yeah, he just seems to have calmed the defense. I honestly don't think he's as good a shot stopper as Meslier, but he's a lot more calmer. He's got a lot more miles on the clock. And it's what we needed for this little run in. Just somebody a bit steady Eddie at the back now. It's all happened at the right time for me. I think they took Meslier out at the perfect time, and we haven't lost the game since Darlow's been in goal. Of what we won 2, drew 1, I believe that's what it is. So yeah, you can't knock it really, can you? So he's doing all right, and that couldn't really do much about the goal yesterday. I'm sure we'll get to that, but yeah, he's filling me with confidence. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I think he's been really solid at the back. James, what's your opinion on Darlow? I know that you haven't really sold on him since Salford away in the cup.
Well, we haven't really needed an amazing goalkeeper because they don't have a lot to do. So all we needed was a goalkeeper that could do the basics, which was catch the ball when it comes into the box and make easy saves and not stand here and then the ball goes that way and you go, oh, fuck me. Do you know what I'm saying? We just needed simplicity at the back, and that's something that Meslier didn't have. So we've got someone that can do that now. Catching the ball in the box for me is up in my estimation anyway. So that's all we needed him to do. We can do it. I feel safe when ball in the box. He can handle that pressure, and then he can set us up on attack. So he's got a good throw on him as well.
Yeah, I agree. Also, he's got a right kick on him. I think they're good. Like in World War II, they just hand him shells and you just kick him over to the enemy, and you just go. Well, a bit of an exaggeration, but Evie, tell me,
he's hanging him a bit. He's hanging him a little bit at times. Like too high.
Yeah.
He started drilling them a little. They were better. Sorry.
Evie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says a lot about how low our expectations are when every single corner that we had, that Preston had yesterday, I was clapping him when he caught the ball. I was like, yeah, well done. What a great catch. And it was really simplistic basic goalkeeping, but that's how low our standards are. That if you just do the bare minimum, that as a Leeds United goalkeeper in the Championship, when we do have the amount of talent going forward and defensively that we have done over the last 2 seasons, the only thing you need to be is just kind of awake for 10 minutes of a game. But that's that's all you need. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so much more confident. You can tell, obviously out of the back 5, 3 out of the 5 all play together on the international scene. And I really do think that the relationships and the chemistry that you have from playing both club and country, I think are invaluable at this point in the season. They know that they can rely on one another. They're going to protect each other from silly mistakes. And, even Darlow's Superman punch, that obviously resulted in the free kick yesterday. I've never seen Meslier build a convincing wall against a free kick ever. And I'm not saying that he's conceded every free kick, but I'm just saying I've never seen him command and actually look like he knows what he's doing instead of just occasionally shouting and doing at people, because that's all you ever kind of see. Yeah, exactly. Meslier doing, but Darlow looked like he was instructing everybody exactly how he wanted it. He'd given away the free kick, he constructed the wall, and it was, it was solid, and nothing came about because of it. And I think we can forgive him for that little wild moment, because for the rest of the game he was more than suitable for what we needed. We haven't needed to have a James Trafford style goalkeeper. We've just needed to have somebody that's kind of top 10, not even top of the league, just mid-table to upper half of the table. And now that we've got that in, we're not conceding silly chances. And you know what? Even if he had have conceded silly chances, personally, just from my opinion, I wouldn't be blaming him, because for me, Farke is the one that chose Meslier over and over, even after the Hull game and after the Sunderland game. So if Darlow did come in cold and didn't achieve much, you can't, if we then didn't go up, I wouldn't be blaming Darlow in the slightest.
Am I reading too much into this? But it seems like that Preston on their set pieces yesterday didn't target Darlow as they would have Meslier. What do you reckon, Kev? Oh, Evie. James.
I think that's a good point.
You're on mute, mate.
Mute.
Because he could catch it.
Yeah, because he can catch it, as James just said. They're scared of his catching ability. They saw that. They're like, we don't care about those dodgy penalties where he jumped out against Salford. We're just scared of him now. That's what it was, yeah. I don't mind. I still think it will go back to Meslier next year. But, yeah, I didn't see much going in the box. Yeah.
Mellier's gone at the end of the season.
I know, but
end of the season is gone, mate.
Pessimistic
he's
again.
Gone, mate, I reckon.
Yeah, he's gone. He'll be working at Lidl and he'll be practicing croissants in the deli bit or something. I don't know.
There'll be lots of spoiled ones then, won't there?
Yeah, they'll drop loads. Let's move on to the goal. A great finish by Manor Solomon. There's been critics of him of late. James, I can't remember what your thoughts of Manor Solomon over the past weeks, but I mean, I wanted him to be dropped for Ramazani because I just thought he dropped off a little bit. But that finish yesterday was glorious, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was great finish. He was really good yesterday. Probably one of the, if not the best player, him and Bogle. Great finish. It's like that. It's a Somerville goal, weren't it? Cutting, right footer, bend into the far corner. We're used to them goals in these parts. Yeah, I thought he was really good yesterday. I was also an advocate of him getting him out of the team for a bit, but he shows his quality yesterday. So yeah, I'm quite happy that he turned it on yesterday.
It was great. Evie, Manor Solomon, a great finish, and he got an assist later on.
Yeah, he was my man of the match.
He's been dying to cut on his right and just
Oh
bang
yeah,
it into the
yeah.
corner.
I mean, I'm quite happy to admit, again, I've been very, very critical of him recently. Less so with his like attacking output, but if you focus in on him, and I do this a lot, he pulls out of 99% of challenges. And it really annoys me because of the fact that obviously he's had a really rough time throughout his career with injuries, but he pulls out of challenges and doesn't win the ball back in dirty ways. He wins the ball with trickery. He wins the ball without pacing people. But he doesn't actually kind of get in there with the grunt work. And it annoys me because there's been many times over the course of this season where we've either conceded chances or actually conceded when Solomon hasn't defended like he should have done. Like Aronson even, gets in there with tackles, and Dan James does, and obviously all of the midfield do, but Solomon doesn't, and it really annoys me. But he was practically faultless yesterday. He was superb. And, the same with Tanaka. This is the most amount of minutes that Solomon has also played in his career because of the fact that he's been so shot with injuries. So, I think that's credit to Farker, and I think that's credit to the medical team, credit to the system that we're playing in, and the confidence and trust that the manager is putting in him. But yeah, I would have probably started somebody else, if maybe put Nonto there, and if for whatever reason Ramazani hasn't been impressing, Schmidt can play on the wing. We know that, we've seen that, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world had Solomon not started. But obviously he's in the last 3 goals we've scored, he's either scored or assisted them, so you could say without him we haven't gained the last 6 points. So yeah. He's been brilliant.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Kev, were you an advocate of dropping Solomon?
Yeah, big time. He's not been at his best. Yeah, proved me wrong yesterday. He was brilliant. But to be fair, there was some people that had good games yesterday that I'll probably guess that we'll get to. But yeah, I want him to drop, get him out of the team, doing my head in he was for a bit. Again, just the challenges, the moaning, and then just pulls that out of the bag yesterday. It's kind of similar to the goal that he scored against us for Fulham, weren't it, when we were in the Premier League? Yeah. It's fine. Fine. But now he's good. Can't drop him now. He's been brilliant. Getting back in for Oxford.
Yeah, I'd start, I won't change the team because I've got a comment. We'll talk about it later on anyway about Dan James. But what do you think to his cheeky little assist for Bogle, which was a great finish by Bogle? I thought Bogle stepped it up yesterday, Kev.
Oh, he's been one of the players of the season as well, Jadon Bogle. Can't complain about him. He's not very good at the old sliding challenges every now and then, a bit like good old Junior on the other side. But yeah, he's been great. But Solomon's assist was good. Reminded me of me as a youngster, just getting past people, skinning them, slapping the ball across. That's how I was.
Come 20th of July, I'll tell you at the end. But come 20th of July, you better watch out, Roses. You better watch out. I've already paid Evie off to make us look good on the old commentary.
Take us about
whatever the Rose of, yeah. So we'll talk about the finish from. As soon as we're talking about Solomon, a great little finish. We'll talk about the second Leeds goal, then we'll talk about the equaliser. So Evie, the Bogle's a great finish, right? I want to put this to all 3 of you actually first. Who's the signing of the season for you? For me, it's between Bogle and Tanaka personally, because I think that Bogle's he's been great for us, but Tanaka's also his different level. I can't decide which yet. Which when we have the Nalpas at the end of the season, it'll come up. But who's your signing, James, of the season? Is it Solomon? Is it Tanaka? So far,
Rodon. Rodon's my signing.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah.
Rodon.
What about you, Evie?
That's really, really difficult.
With all my heart.
I don't know. Tanaka's, I think, skill-wise is probably the most skilled player that we've signed. But I like a journey, and I feel like Bogle did not start well at all, but now he's invaluable for us. And I thought Bogle yesterday as well picked up a lot of slack in terms of Nonto isn't the same profile of winger that Dan James is, so Bogle had to continue doing extra running that Dan James would have usually done yesterday. So you don't get that from a lot of other people. And I think defensively he's improved. He's not given away as many free kicks as he was at the beginning of the season. So I like somebody who has kind of like a journey. And I think that Tanaka came in obviously from quite a cold situation, having lost Ampadu and Gruev within one game week. But he kind of hit the ground running straight away, whereas Bogle has had to grow into it because he was disappointing all through pre-season. I was incredibly critical of him through pre-season. I thought, what the fuck have we signed? Sheffield United's, offcast kind of thing. I wasn't impressed, whereas now I love the fact that he's completely changed my mind. So that for me,
how is he playing in your reality now, though?
In my reality, he's on his way to go and collect the Ballon d'Or. So,
there you go. Easy work. So you're going with Bogle then.
Let's jump to that one.
What about you, Kev?
Well, I'm going to be. Mine's got a good journey to it as well. Kept the most clean sheets out of any goalkeeper this season. I've got to go with Alex Cairns, mate. What a signing! He hasn't conceded yet at all. Nah, not really. Obviously not. I think Tanaka for me. He just makes the whole team beat through him. Everything that he does is it just oozes class, and I like that sort of player. It's like there's no players around him at all times, even if he's surrounded. He's just everything he does is he's so calm. I think Tanaka, and if I had to do a top three, I'd go Roden second, and then Bogle third. That's for me. But Tanaka.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair comparison. So moving on then, James, to the finish from Bogle yesterday. A great, I saw it in the comments earlier that it was pretty much what Tanaka did, but I thought it was a great poacher's finish.
It's a great finish. It's a great ball. It's right in that little area where defender could just poke it in, but he got there first and he put it in. It's quite easy if he's getting there first to finish it, and he did. It's more about the ball, really. It's more about where he put that ball, where he's anticipating the run. So yeah, the ball made the goal, but Bogle just was the nice ball. So
and it was seen a few times in this season. Great finisher, Evie.
Yeah, I mean that ball basically it was going to be a goal no matter who was there because, like James just said, a defender puts that into his own net. It was. The ball was precision, and I'm glad that Bogle, yet again, our wing backs just seem to have this kind of free role, especially like Junior Firpo, but Bogle showed the same kind of free spirit that Firpo has for the majority of the season, and that's how Firpo's managed to get, as many kind of assists as he has this season. And Bogle has got, I think Bogle's got more goals than assists, but the fact that our our fullbacks are scoring or contributing towards goals just goes to show how we don't necessarily need that finished striker at this level. I'm not saying that we don't need it when we go up, but it's their goal contributions have allowed kind of Pirro's lack of goal contributions to go under the radar because of the fact that we've still got goals. It's not like our number 9 isn't scoring, so we're absolutely done. We're not scoring. We're actually scoring, 2 goals every game, pretty much. I know Middlesbrough was a 1-0 win, but it was a 3-0 win. So it doesn't. We're scoring goals. It doesn't matter who the bloody hell's scoring them. So it was a perfect ball from Solomon, and I hope that he continues to be less selfish because the amount of times that cross, it's usually Firpo that does that ball kind of fizzing across the front of goal. So if Solomon does that, I think he'd have even more assists to his name than he does already this season.
Yeah, I agree. Kev, just quickly on that Bogle goal. The one of many chances that we had yesterday.
Well, they're the ones that I'd like to see Joel Perot get on the end of, to be honest, but because that's all finished. But yeah, I mean, do you know what I'm going to say? I thought Joel Perot was wicked yesterday, by the way, as well. Led the line really well. He he was tackling. Yeah, he was fantastic. That's the best game he's had for us in a while. He was skinning people. He's harassing people. He must have had 3 for 100 before the game because he was proper all over it everywhere, weren't he? Big time, mate. So yeah, fair play to him. But yeah, great finish by Bogle. He's got a lot of goals. I mean, do you think we've got the most goals from fullbacks as a team in the league this year? Must have.
I would say so.
I mean, Bogle 5-6, easy. That I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah.
Speaking of Perot, then.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Perot, I thought he couldn't buy a goal yesterday, James.
No.
I thought it was really unlucky, but I did think he'd played well. There's a lot of people clamouring for him to come off early.
Front of goal.
What's your thoughts on Perot yesterday, mate?
Yeah, it's one of them games where he weren't going to score. He could have walked into that goal with no goalie, and the wind would have took it away from him. Going in for a mistake. Absolutely not. And maybe he should have realised that sooner and just passed it. It's like passing it, and then we might have scored 3 more goals. Yeah. No, it was good. Yes, it was good.
Yes. I know which opportunity you were talking about. He went for the shot and put it wide instead of knocking it across. Was it to Gruev or Nonto, I believe?
I think it was Nonto that I can think of, yeah.
Yeah. Unless, Gruev's not getting out of this either. He missed literally an open net and he knocked it back towards the penalty spot. Did you see that one?
Wasn't that
the cross came in? Was it? I thought it was Gruev.
I think both of them did it because Rodon came off his shin and it came backwards, and then I think Gruev missed it, or vice versa. I don't know how. Surely it just hits a body part at that point and just goes in. It's harder for it not.
We know Rodon doesn't score.
Yeah, he's never
he has done this
Ultimate
season.
Defender. So... Rodon defends every goal. Every goal in sight.
Even if it's to win it, he'll clear it. It's just force of habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that the
miss celebrate as well. Yes. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Celebrate it. But I thought the miss at Dan James wasn't too big. Having Nonto out there. I thought Nonto, he had a bit of a quiet game personally. Kev, what do you reckon?
Yeah, he hasn't played amazing since that. Was it QPR came on, and was it when he played really well and saved the game, and then he came on and scored against Swansea, and it hasn't been that impactful. But again, there's still a lot of games to be played with these lads, and I still think we're going to see Ramazani before the end of the season and a little bit more Nonto. I honestly don't think Dan James will be back by Friday. I think it'll be probably the exact same team. I think it won't change anything. Bamford coming on as the impact. Perot still playing there. Looks like again, Perot looked like he got a lot fitter within a week for me. So that's good. But Nonto's still got a moment in him this season, I feel, and he's going to score a big goal, and I think it might ignite him as a player again. But I mean, he just needs to stop getting injured or stop going away for international breaks. It always interrupts his form every single time with Willie Nonto. Just always seems to bad things happen at international breaks. So. Just retire from international duty, mate. Yeah.
Could you blame Meslier though, almost for Nonto's dropping form in terms of he came on, scored what he thought was going to be the winning goal at Swansea, and is then immediately deflated by a goalkeeper who doesn't know how to save a goal. It must be hard to think, I've come on, I've saved the day, I'm the man again, and then to have that immediately basically mean nothing. It must be difficult, just mentally, trying to think of a player who hasn't started a great deal in the second half of the season, comes on, makes an instant impact, exactly what he did in the reverse fixture away from home as well. And in that game, he did win the game for us. So it must be a little bit, I don't know, it must be hard to a bit like when Firpo went storming down the tunnel at the end of the Sunderland game. It must be so hard to think that you've won a game, a goal that you have scored has almost been meaningless. And
Firpo had a bet on 2-1 as well, didn't he? So he just threw that one out the window.
Yeah. See, Nonto next to Melly ain't changing rooms after he conceded the Swansea goal. Bro, what was all that about? Got a yellow card for taking his shirt off because as soon as you saw that goal go in,
because they did walk through us.
Yeah. The sequence of events for that goal were just terrible, absolutely terrible.
I guess no one liked more Firpo having a bet joke there, did they? They're not so.
Oh yeah. Well, if you don't already know, Firpo
I didn't hear it,
mate,
because I can't hear
by
it's
the
for poker, not football related.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not apparently
football under investigation for betting or something. But we know that they did it with Tonali, and he got a 10-month ban from football. I think it was longer, but he got knocked down to 10 months. But I don't think, like Evie says, I don't think there was.
Tonali's was actually football related.
Tonali's was football.
Whereas Firpo's wasn't, or isn't.
Do you know what with
Firpo
isn't? When I saw that first come out, and I thought, all them easy yellow cards make sense.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you just get booked every game? And I just thought, no, surely not.
It was inevitable him getting a yellow card at one point, wasn't it? Yeah.
I know Evie has a special hatred for the idea of inside sources, but it ain't looking good for James.
Oh, don't say that, Joe. Let's live in denial. I'd rather live in denial with the hope of Dan James coming back.
Or another reality.
Yeah, let me live in my many realities where Dan James comes on and saves the day, as always.
Yes.
Even if he misses the rest of the season, that still, in my opinion, doesn't change that he's probably been our player of the season this year.
Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah, agreed.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think Dan James has come so much further under Farke. I mean, he was great last season as well for me personally. I think he's. I can't remember the stat, but he's
incredible.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Schmidt. What do you reckon, James, about Schmidt? We're starting to see a lot more of Schmidt now. Do you think that he's got the nod from Farke to say, right, you ready for the championship, or are you ready? You've got a future, because he went away on international duty and he said to the media, "Look, I know I've got a future at Leeds United. I've been told by the club, by Farke, maybe it was Farke, but he's been told that he's got a future." So the same with Ramazani, who put a tweet out saying Romans 8:19 or 8:18, which is a Bible verse, and I think it basically means it don't matter about me as long because the good times are coming for everyone. I think that's the translation or something.
Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah.
But I can't read Latin that great. But James, what do you think to Schmidt? Are we starting to see the emergence of a great player?
I don't know about that. I just think he's had to wait a very, very long time, hasn't he, to get a game. But I think maybe it's been a little bit of a we didn't get any players in January, Schmidt. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save you for when the times get a bit rough, and then I can whip you out like a new player, and then start putting you in the team. And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And then Bamford, I'm gonna keep you back as well. You're actually all right, man. And he Legos him a little bit, so you just stay there. I'll whip you out as well. He's all right. I think he's coming on. He's doing a job, and he just needs to play
defensive wingers. Defensive wingers when we're winning.
A bit more of what he can do.
But when he's
but it's not too bad.
Yeah, when he's coming on ahead of Ramazani, Evie, is that just down to because Ramazani can only play on the left, but Solomon can only play on the left?
I think it genuinely depends on what you're doing in training, and as well, Schmidt has come on and has looked like he's doing bits. He's shown more, just in my personal opinion, than Ramazani has in his last 5 appearances. I understand the clamouring for Ramazani, but at the same time, if it just goes on what you see when they have these kind of cameo appearances, then Schmidt has done more, in my opinion, in the 3 cameos that he's had than Ramazani has in his last 5. I think that it was really unfortunate when Ramazani got injured because he was arguably one of our best players. He was eclipsing Nonto at that time. Dan James was still coming back from injury. So, like, he was very good at that time, but nobody has the God-given right, no matter how expensive you are, to play unless you're doing it on the training pitch. You can't just say, oh, well, I'll turn up when I'm playing. How's the manager supposed to know that? You know, he can only trust on the players that are turning up actually in games. And Ramazani was part of the action that ended up resulting in that Swansea equalising goal as well. So what exactly has he done in the last few appearances? And Nonto's only had similar amount of minutes recently than Ramazani, and yet Nonto's been chosen. So Nonto's has done more than Ramazani.
Ramazani has less minutes than Sean Kevin Augustin, which is diabolical. So he needs at least a full game for me, just so he doesn't have that stat against him. But yes, we are all indeed Schmitten. That's right, Schmitten. Don't forget the sponsor, Schmitten dating app. Yep, all lovely. Right then, yeah. So quickly, we'll go on to the equaliser. A minute later, I think it was a minute and 47 seconds later, James. Firpo has been shown. He tried to show him on the outside, but he cut on the inside. I thought, first of all, I thought, where's our midfield? They passed it out to the double-barreled name. I forget his name. But it was a great finish, to be fair, wasn't it, mate? I mean, I don't think Darlow had any chance, but I thought Firpo was quite weak in his defending.
I thought it was, Firpo forgot that he was a defender for a bit, didn't he? Because he's been playing like a bloody number 10 for the past however many months. So got the chance to be a defender for a bit, and he was like, "Oh shit, I'm in unusual surroundings," and that player just went, "See you in a bit, mate." Bang. Yeah, it weren't good. This is what I worry about someone like Firpo in the Premier League. I don't think he's that good a defender. I think he can get away with it in this league. But it was an easy sort of ball to get to him because he just passed it in midfield and it was one pass out and they were on, and then so it was. You know, we just scored, and they say it's the most dangerous time, isn't it, when someone just scores, because you're a bit sleepy, you're a bit high off the goal, and you're not doing your job, and they took advantage. But other than that, we were pretty good. To be fair.
Yeah, was a good finish though. To be fair, wasn't it, Evie?
Oh yeah, you can't take anything away from that. I think Firpo should have stayed strong the moment he commits, especially going the way that he did. He just opened it and basically showed the Preston player exactly how to score the goal, because he couldn't move his body this way and then get back to the other way before he then took the shots. So, yeah, and the goal, there's nothing on Darlow either. He wasn't saving that, just like the Preston goalkeeper wasn't saving the Solomon shot. They were very similar goals at either end of the pitch, and completely agree with what James has just said. And it pees my husband off no end, because I just like, right, just keep it tight, because you're always weakest when you've just scored. And he's like, oh, shut up, why do you always say that? And then you curse us. And I'm like, because it's a real stat, like it's a real thing. You
bring your reality into ours.
Yeah.
Get the what do you call it, stone. But you don't have to worry about that, Evie, because the biggest curse is Joe Wayman. That's right, I'm calling you out, Joe Wayman, because when we were playing Swansea, he says, "Man of the match for me," to about Millier, and then we'll go on and draw it. So he's the biggest thing. Right, I think Kev's gone off somewhere, so what I will talk about is that fateful ping of my phone when I saw that Plymouth had equalised, and then the other ping that came through, and I can tell you now, this was me reading the text that it were 2-1 Plymouth. I could not believe my eyes. Could not believe my eyes what I was seeing. Now, Evie, what was your reaction seeing, like, we're 2-1 up, 10 minutes to go, you see that ping come through 2-1 to Plymouth. What did you fall to the floor again?
I couldn't quite believe it. I just I went like this. Yes, yes, yes. That's all I could do because I just the words weren't going to come to my mouth in that kind of instance. It was the Sky commentators was just said, oh, you know, it and Leeds United would be happy if they knew that, you know, Sheffield have just gone 2-1 down to Plymouth. And the only thing that I will just say is obviously 2 out of the 3 teams that Sheffield United have dropped points to, we still have to go and play away from home.
Oh, why did you say that?
We still have to play Oxford and we still have to play Plymouth. Hopefully, it doesn't matter at the Plymouth game. Hopefully, it'll be done.
Time Lord has spoken.
Well, she could always go back and live and readjust reality, James. So we're all right. Could always go back. But yeah,
maybe this is the only reality.
Turn your hair back to normal, Evie. You're scaring me.
I mean, yeah, it's one of them things, but you know, ultimately, they've bottled it at this point for me. You know, are we the ones falling apart? Kev, I for one did not see Sheffield United losing 3 in a row.
Me neither. But this football, innit? They were telling us that we were falling apart. Now they're falling apart. The championship's going to championship, isn't it? That's what it really is. Every team's going to beat everyone. I mean, we haven't got this sewn up yet ourselves. I'm quietly confident that we'll go up as champions. But there's still football matches to be played. There's still 12 points in it. Yeah. So, I mean, Oxford have played well at times this year as well. She's got to treat every single game like a cup final now, not a player final.
Yeah, that's true.
Cup final. Yeah. So that's what we've got to do going forward. So, yeah.
I mean, Oxford are looking to stay. I think they're about 4 or 5 points.
We have to. We always
the drop
do.
Now. Yeah. James, I mean, what was your reaction to the dropping points again? I know we concentrate on us, but obviously it's handed us a great advantage. 5 points clear, top of the league with Burnley. Oh.
See, I've, as you know, I've never been worried. I've always thought that one of them were going to keep talking and just keep saying things until I come back on and people can hear what I'm saying. Anyway.
There you go.
Can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yeah, go for it.
Am I back?
Yeah.
To be fair, I just think that one of them was going to mess up at some point. I don't think both of them were going to keep winning. I thought it was going to be Burnley at one point, but it turns out to be the better team to do it. And that's that ham-faced man. And his crying's going to bring me so much joy because I reckon he might help us actually win the title as well. Because I reckon he might take points off Burnley for us, which helps us win the title indefinitely. But then he finishes third and gets knocked out by Lampard. Oh, that'd be funny.
Evie, it's full time. Whistle goes. We're 5 points clear. Do we need to buy you elbow pads, knee pads, and a helmet to send to your husband because you keep falling to the floor? Or do you at least need a beanbag in front of the television?
Yeah, a beanbag would do it. Although, no, actually, I've got 2 dogs, so the beanbag would just get, burst.
What if we put like bubble wrap around the dogs, not for you, but for their protection as well?
Yeah, probably a good idea. One of my dogs is a complete wuss and can't handle it when we watch football because he gets scared of the shouting. So yeah, whereas the other one just sleeps through it. So
I'm scared. I'm scared for your husband, if I'm being honest. James, if you're watching, contact me.
I can understand.
No, like I mean, it's really not doing anything for like stress levels because obviously, had we have not Leedsed it up a few games ago, goodness knows how many clear we could have been if we'd have just carried on and not dropped so many points. But it's amazing to think that even though we did have a slip up, We've only lost once since the 28th of November. We haven't lost back-to-back games like Sheffield have. And we're still top of the table. We've still scored the most goals. We've still got the best goal difference. We've conceded the second fewest amount of goals, even with that blip in the middle. So, yeah, if we can just do our job in the next 2 games, then it's pretty much done. It'd be great if Sheffield lost on Friday, and then the Monday we can allow Sheffield to win that so that we can definitely have the title.
Nice.
But I don't care. I just want to go up. I don't care about the title.
Yeah. Well,
if it just means safety.
Yeah. Well, chances are we could be promoted by Monday. Now, I've got a little shout out to talk about Leeds on Twitter. So Leeds promoted with 2 games to go. So Leeds win, and then all these other ones. So the chances are it is possible that we could go up on Easter Monday with 2 games to go. Now, how great would that be, Kevin? You're on mute, mate.
I guess you knew what I just said then. Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah, I'd love it if we went up, if we beat them. Love it, as Kevin Keegan once said. No, look, I don't want to go by hypotheticals and stats and number crunching. I don't want to do that. We just need to go out there and win all our games, and that's it. And hopefully, Burnley, Sheffield United, I'd take a draw with that as well. If Sheffield United lose and draw, and we win, does that mean we're up? It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Put your graphic back up. Let's have a look.
Put it back up, because we're 5 ahead. We win with 6 games, and then if Blades lose and draw, we're up.
Yeah. So how exciting is that?
I wish we could be up on Friday. That means I could go on.
We could be on the cusp
and not go
of
home
promotion.
for 4 days. Yeah.
We could be on the cusp of returning back to the Premier League this time next week. Oh my giddy aunt. James, are you excited for next week? I think he is.
I can't hear what you're saying. So I'm going to me. I think that. Well, I've always think we've been up since the start of the season. To be fair.
I know, yeah.
I thought we've been up since the start of the season, so this is just like reality is just playing out for me now. This is my reality. So I'm good, mate. I'm like, we're gonna go up regardless this weekend, next weekend we're gonna be up.
Yeah,
that's me, bro.
We've just got to do our job, haven't we, Evie?
Yeah. If we just do our job, it doesn't matter what anybody else does because we're at the top of the table. So I know it's only goal difference, but still, if we just do our job, then we're up. We're not like Sheffield, who have to rely on us and Burnley dropping points. We just have to go out and win. It isn't done yet, and I hope that Farke is drilling that into the players of the fact of let's not go to Oxford and walk on the pitch like we've already done it, because we did that against West Brom, we did that against Luton, we did that against QPR. We've done that in so many games this season where we're playing opposition that on paper we are so much better than. Anything can happen. Look at Plymouth. We battered them at home, and Plymouth got a last-minute winner against title contenders, let alone promotion contenders. That it's anything can happen, and you can't underestimate what a team fighting for their life at the bottom are willing and capable of doing. So as long as we do ours, we don't have to be concerned about any permutations, because if we just win everything, then we're up as champions. Nobody can overtake us.
No, that is 100% true. And personally, I just want to get out of the division because it's tonk. But I'd like to go up as champions, obviously. Right then. We eventually won it 2-1, and we went 5 points clear along with Burnley, with the superior goal difference taking us up. I think people have it as 7 points will do it, but I think if Burnley win on Monday, we only need 4. So exciting times ahead. Right then, so let's get into our final segment of the pod. Let's get into this week's
Top Knob.
Boom. So in ancient Rome, they would tell you topus nobus, and that would mean who's your top knob this week. So, Kev, I'll come to you first, mate. Who's wound you up this week?
Can you come back to me? Honestly, I should have been more prepared for this one. Please come back to me.
You're on the show every week. You know what's coming every week.
Oh no, yeah.
James, who's wound you up this week?
Who's wound me up this week? Who's wound me up this week? Who's wound me up this week? Well, Wilder. I'll go Chris Wilder. He's wound me up this week.
Mr. Hamface, yeah, who was kicking off with the Plymouth players.
Sad about it.
Head's gone, I believe. I think it's
Darko JB, you're giving him some.
Yeah,
go on, lad.
JB was
well
there.
Done.
Yeah. What about you, Evie? Who's wound you up this week?
Surely it has to be the lino at the Middlesbrough game.
Darren Williams. I'll just Google him because that's what I was going to pick as well. Yeah, so that's his name.
What's his name?
Or it could be the linos because one ruled out
Both
one
of
and the other
yeah.
one ruled out the other.
Yes, it's that Darren Williams.
Darren, I thought you said Pharrell Williams. I was like, what? There's in the singer.
It says here he's from Middlesbrough.
Oh, well, that explains a lot. Explains a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, I agree. I think Chris Wilder.
And now
for,
he's a hero.
Just for being funny and kicking off everyone and absolutely having a head loss moment. And it's great, isn't it great to like see another team bottle it and it's not Leeds? Isn't it great? It's a great
I'd love
feeling.
to be a fly on the wall in their changing room at the minute because what on earth has happened? You know, like it's like their own Crystal Palace moment kind of thing. You know, just what has gone on.
Oh yeah.
You know, obviously he's called out the fans, he's called out the players. Why would you do that? And also, I love the little like meme that's going around of where he kind of slates Plymouth before playing them and kind of says, well, they're at the bottom of the table for a reason. And then they go and beat him. It's like Farker would never say that. He would never ever be rude about another team or another manager. He'd never belittle them or kind of say, oh yeah, we're better than you. You know, he'd be very complimentary and, you know, teams at the bottom fighting for their life at this time of the season. You can't underestimate them, blah, blah, blah. He would just never, I actually don't mind Wilder, but when he does things like that, I'm like, no, you're not entitled to just be at the top of the table. You know,
hubris.
I think
it's hubris.
I think he needs to separate himself because he's a manager and a fan of the club. So he needs to find that divide.
Hubris.
Professionally.
Hubris.
Yeah, and you know, I know it's hard to because you can't remove the emotion from supporting Leeds. If I could turn it on and off, it'd constantly be off because you know I used to look like Fabio back in the day with my long hair, but you know, look at me now.
What's the point doing it then?
Temporary receding. Yeah, so Wilder, the Linos definitely you are this week's top knob.
Top Knob.
Right then, that is the end of the podcast this week. I'd like to thank Evie for coming on. Thank you very much for putting yourself through this.
Thank you for having me back.
Once more. No, always a pleasure. Anything going on with the channel this week?
I'll be doing a bumper review of Middlesbrough and yesterday's Preston game as well. Should be out tomorrow.
Sweet. Happy days. If you don't already, where can we find you?
Discourse of Peacocks.
On YouTube and...
On YouTube. No,
just
I don't have... Yeah, just on YouTube.
Sweet.
I don't delve into X/Twitter.
No, you do right. You do right. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do like and subscribe.
Not in this reality, you don't.
Yeah. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the season. Hopefully, we're not far off, hopefully. And, help us out. Smash that like and subscribe. Kev, James, thanks very much. Anything else before we end the stream?
Football match.
Football match. Right. Thanks very much. And we might see you next week.
Okay.